Welcome, Project Bramble inspection video part 2. Let's take it over and have a look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. We talked about the good, so we're here just to see if Clint Eastwood's going to do us proud. The first thing to do is to get the heater box out. I've gone underneath and taken out the operating lever, and now I'm just going to hope that these very notorious bolts usually shear. Now I've been lucky on the bulkhead closing panels. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rock them just clockwise and anti slowly, because if you don't, you're gonna shear the bolt. So okay, so far we're not selling out. There's a lot of rust around this one. If I can get this, we're gonna be lucky, guys. This one's normally the worst, so you're right with me on Bramble inspection part 2. We wanted to see what's behind the heater, so we're rocking out these 10 mils. Now, there is a lot of crud on that, but it's going. Trying to hope that the captive nut doesn't break. And then we're going to work our way around if this one goes. Slowly take the fiberglass heater box out. You've got to be so careful. That's why I've gone down underneath just by the footwell, the passenger side, and release the heat diverter flap lever, the aluminium lever. It was a bit tight, I had to rock it a bit. They tend to seize onto the metal shaft of the heater flap, and if you didn't know how they attach, you end up breaking your heater box. So I'll show you that later how we did it, but we're rocking this out backwards and forwards. You're live with us, Andy's on the camera. It's either going to go or it ain't. So one piece split. Will this one? Or will we hit lucky? Just got to keep taking it easy. $10mm head on the bolt. Notorious for stripping. Just winding it back and forwards. That's all we're doing, so that we can inspect that bulkhead. Okay, looks like we've made it. Technique's paid off. If you just tried to wind it straight out, it most likely would shear. In this case, we've succeeded. And now we've got that one. So we're going to be getting a little bag to put all the bolts in. But for now, let's get this top one off. Now then, this could go as well. You can hear that. That's sounding a little bit corroded. A few days ago I did put, say a few days ago, a week ago, 10 days ago, penetrating oil on these. Still sound dry. May or may have not got into the threads. What I'm going to do, we're going to pause, spray some oil in, then resume. Let's do that. Bit of plus gas in there. I'm going to wind that back in. There's some threads exposed, so I'll wind back in on that. That's the ticket. Smoother now. So working them on. plus gas, WD-40, whatever you want. It's going to save you some heartache later on. Wind back in a little bit more. It's worth investing in this because it means you don't have to go re-welding in captive nuts or drilling out snap 10 millis. Bearing in mind, this car's been stood a long time, as you know. Don't know why they have to make them so long, but they do. All we want to do is see what's behind here. Well, yeah, yeah. Can't see why that won't go now, and it's away. Another success. There you go. Quite a long one now. Out with that one, over to the next one. I think there's only 2 more left. This one feels okay. We've got a good one here. Really careful because we're fiberglass heater box. I'll be very pleased if we get this box out of any damage because it's a really mint box. See, one rivet that snapped off it, but that's easy to fix. This one's sailed out. Getting closer, guys, to getting you that heater box out. If you're on the edges of your seat. There, the plus gas down. Just looking if there's anything behind this wiper motor. I should know this off by heart. I don't. I think this is the last one. This heater box bracket is detached. That's not a problem. Spraying with oil's paying off. Right, just to be sure, I'm going to wind back in, plus gas again. Make sure it is called plus gas, I'm telling myself. It is. Wind back in so it loads it. Just the idea is to reduce the friction. Now this bracket will just fall off because the rivets have gone. But we're out again, so it's another success. So all heater mount holes are okay. That little fella out is the lighting out. Okay. Right, electrical cable off. Brake servo hose out the way. As far as I know, all mounting bolts out. Diverter flap rod released inside the car. Slowly rock the box. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. First bit of damage. Corner. That's how brittle they are. That corner just went. But I can fix that. It's not a problem. As long as we can save it. They're so brittle. Bit of rubber gasket stuck to it. I don't know if I can extract this way. I don't think I can without the air cleaner box off. Or maybe the wiper motor, but I'd say air cleaner box. Not quite enough room, too risky. It would without a wiper motor. Can always release that, may do that. It's part of the bulkhead anyway, so wiper motor. So far, not seized on the wiper motor. could we be in luck with a wiper motor? So we've got a little corner already gone off the fiberglass box. I'm going to have to repair that. Shame, but it's just like going like that and it just breaks. I'm already getting a view of the bulkhead, guys. It's looking good. Okay, we got all the wiper motor bolts are good. Yeah, I say usually seized in. Wiper motor should move slightly to the left, depending on the state of the wiper arms. Maybe one more. There's one more. I apologise. One more. Not seized. What I'm going to do is move the heater box just slightly back. That way, just when this starts to move about. So all the bolts so far have been nice to us. And now the wiper motor's free. You only want to move it a bit to the right for now. Last wiper motor bolt coming out. Out. No damage to that. Grab the motor slowly. See what we can do with it. It's going to be a bit of an origami exercise, I think. There we go. Right, and wiper motor just enough to clear the heater box. Bit of bramble there. Damn stuff still attacking me. Look at that, it's grown right behind the heater. Look at that. Triffids. There's no real place to go and safely hold it. I'm not sure if I can get it. I've just got to be so careful. I would say heat an air cleaner box off next. Spoon out. Little 8s to lift this, and then we're gone. So I'm going to go and get some sockets. We'll be right back. We will be bagging all this stuff up and labelling it. 2 more to go for air cleaner. And a 13 for the support bracket for the air filter cleaner box. I might get away with that bracket, support bracket on the rocker cover. Be careful about placing the socket bar. There's a battery, a very well charged one. Okay. Grommet knackered, perished. Right, that's off. Heater box should withdraw. Right now, if you're okay, Andy, we'll go. Like bomb disposal, this. It's so fragile, you see. I'll show you what happened so easily with me just then. Then lower it down to the floor. Place it this side. Lost that little corner. There. And we'll have to glue it back on. damn, other than that, it's totally intact. It's even got the extremely rare, and have a look at this, you don't often see this, the correct plenum drain tube manifold. They're normally not there, it's normally just a scallop. There's a support tab for the plenum. That's the plenum drain tube that slots over this to drain the water out. You can see I've just touched it, it's just crumbling. It's a shame, but that's it. That's the heater box. If you look at the condition of these rubbers, they're all good. Not that I'd probably not reuse these, but quite often they're really perished. Now that's resting under stress there, but it should be okay. I don't know really, if I put it that way it'll break that off, it'll just break. If I just really give it something, you know, that's the problem with these boxes. It'd be nice to replicate this. It'd be good. Right, heater box is out. Just touch the edge of there and it flaked off. That's how fragile they are. Luckily it's an easy shape to repair. We'll have to repair that piece. This is the early fiberglass or fibre type material heater box. This is as original as you're going to get. It's a Delair unit. It should be stamped Delair. There it is, Delair there. Right hand drive Delair. Twisting it to the light, just about to see it. The early ones are ribbed here in the corner. This is incorrect, that's a plastic motor cover. That would normally be fibre. Your vacuum hose support brackets, that's broke off that, but it's easy to fix. Rare because it's got the plenum drain moulding on it. That's the plenum drain moulding. They don't all have those. There's a tube which they discontinued. Don't ask me why, but I think it's because leaves blocked it up. But the tube slots on here, onto that tab, and then fits in here. The water comes down your bulkhead, drains out into this what's called plenum drain. A little snaky tube that ends up about where my end of my fingers are there and drains the water away from your inner wing. Rare to see that. Don't get them on later boxes. As I said, that shouldn't be plastic. But there we have it. We've got it out more or less in one piece. Certainly a savable and usable unit if taken care of, and if we do that slight repair here, little corner there, just as I was lifting it, just took it off, straight off. It's so fragile. We're going to be breaking this box down like we did on Ruby and fully refurbing it, and it'll come up looking like brand new like Ruby's did. But for now, what we do, we wrap this, loads of bubble wrap, get it in a cardboard box, mark it up, ready for its refurb. And any associated screws and bolts that came with this we mark into a bag ready for when they're going for the galvanising. So these are the first steps of Bramble. Let's take you up now because I've not seen it, because I was concentrating on this heater box. Andy will bring the camera over and we're going to go up this way, everybody. Let's have a look at this bulkhead then. Let's get the lights in. We've got a tripod light here today. And Andy, in we go, and wow, it isn't even touched. Jim said you'll know, hang on, get this on, he said you'll know when you take the heater box out what your bulkhead's like. I've been talking to Jim, one of my Mark III buddies out there in Cortina land. Hello to the newts there. Jim, what about the bulkhead? Jim, what about the bulkhead? Gary, the bulkhead. Jim, the bulkhead, the bulkhead, the bulkhead, the bulkhead. That's all that's been on my mind. The bulkhead. What lies behind that heater box? Let's get down and party! It's solid, it's dry. Look! Oh, it's rotten. Oh, it's finished. Oh, it's rotten. No, I don't think so. I've never seen a more solid bulkhead. It's crazy. It can't be true. It doesn't follow any. How? I don't. Look at it. Look at the bay. It's so good. I'm going to take you guys in again. We're going to walk up to the car. I'm going to go through that again. It feels so good. Let's come back in and get that engine bay cleaned up, or that bulkhead cleaned up. you've just seen the big reveal, but I wanted to take you back in so we can do it all again. It was that exciting. Look at this! Here's a brush, here's a bay. All we do, we keep on inspecting. Now then, you're seeing this as I am, so that's the great thing about it. The great thing about the YouTube community out there, you're all watching with me, as though you're right here in the garage with me, and that's what I want it to be like all the way through this series, okay? And I want you to get involved as much as you can in the feedback. Let me know what you think about it all, as usual. If you've just joined us in this episode and you've not seen anything else, click back through the films, because there's loads of them, and it shows us how we pulled this car out of a field or a hedgerow. It shows us a few other projects that we've done in the past as well. All them videos are on the channel. Click back, have a little browse through. Some of them are an hour long, some are a bit shorter, some of them are 2 hours. Have a look, see what you think. But for now, let's clean this bulkhead. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this as I unveil it live with you guys. Project Bramble then, inspection video 2, bulkhead reveal, true bulkhead reveal. That silver fox working its magic. Ouch. Don't want to take the call. I can always... Even these normally rot, but look at this heater wiper motor bulkhead plate, solid. Even got some of its original satin finish paint on it. That just shows us, for some reason, it's amazing me. Look at that. Good. So another part we don't need to get. So we don't need to put captive nuts in. We don't need to get one of these. We can probably fix that fiberglass heater box. In fact, no reason why not, if it survives the restoration process. And in a minute, we're going to go down and look at that bulkhead properly, clean it up. So we'll see you in a minute. Off with them with my fingers. I mean, it's already lost a few blades, this fuse box, but they often do. They're easy to get. Escort's the same. Escort will do. I'm going to lift that just so that we've got a clear platter. These aren't even seized on. Like, this fuse box is gone. That doesn't matter though. Come off easy though. Look, heck, even that's clean. Look. These often go. We just push those connectors back down through there. I'll need that back on to start the car, just so we can see the condition of everything. That silver fox paint really working its magic, or something that's happened in this car that's allowed this not to rot. But you can tell me what you think and why it is. I can only tell you off all the Cortinas that I've seen being broken, that I've watched being broken, that I've had myself, scrappers, all sorts of different Cortinas over the years that I've had, and I expected this to be really bad. And oh, I've got some surface pits. It's ridiculous. It hasn't even gone here. That's the point where they always go. Here, come and have a look at this one. They always go here. Right there. Now you can see, oh, it's pinned. Look, see. Just a little one pinhole through there. That's where they always go. And that's how it starts on that one. So there's a little repair to do, but that's an in situ repair, see? But that's normal. These always break off. These always break off. Yes, please. Okay. We'll get the jar. If you rub this silver fox here, actually just like the day it come out of the factory, this paint job on that bit where it's been completely protected. I've just seen the lay of the land. Brand new she was! with a little bit of TLC. She could be really nice. Of course, we've just got that one area there, so I can live with that. And I've just saved myself about 3 months' work. There we go. I said let's have a bulkhead. No, you said let's have a bulkhead. I said yes please. This is what we've got. So just one more time in then for you before I move on to the bad and the ugly. I've got the I've charged up the LED torch light. Just gives a better light. In we go. So we can see. Can we get you in to the real important spots though? Up the top there, see. Now we have got surface rust, but I haven't found anything pushing through. I think we caught it just in time. And then up in the upper section, switching the light so that you can get into the upper section, tilting up, see what we can see under there. Hold on, camera might go a little bit unstable as I just try and twist the camera lens in. You can see that's the inner, the very troublesome inner piece of the scuttle itself. Now we're talking not about the bulkhead but the scuttle now. And that inner piece is troublesome, and that inner piece is also intact. So we're really pretty done and dusted knowing that we can just clean that, which if we decide to dip or not, or soda blast, we decide what we're going to do, but that's good. Moving back then, here's our top scuttle piece, solid and not been filled. So this is the beginning of the attack of the rust that way. Again, I've seen this, and you can get scuttle repair end corners. I've seen cars much worse than that on the road with filler in there. So all in all, a great set of inner wings, scuttle and bulkhead. That's good. So we don't need to worry about the front in terms of our repairs on this car. We can just go for plenty of good metal to attach our new panels if we choose any for the front. We'll see what we need later when it's stripped. Moving into the bad then, and the bad is the roof, because it is bad. Rotted through, and what we're thinking has happened, it's had a new quarter in its life, because what we're finding, what I'm finding, is that most of the panels showed the signs of the silver fox paint, which if you didn't know was a Ford fail, because it flaked off. The metallic paint flaked off, and a lot of cars got repainted because all this paint from the factory a few years or even months down the line failed. You might know more of the story than I do. And we've found that all the panels, including the bonnet and the wings, are original, as are the doors. So it's not had bodywork except this quarter here. This quarter's been replaced because the lead's gone and it's now got filler on it where the quarter panel joins the roof. That's the join line there. If you look on some of my earlier videos, you'll see this area being addressed. Excuse me, that's full of filler, and the panel isn't silver. And this then would have had the vinyl roof replaced. Something's gone wrong in that process. The panel hasn't been prepared, or the vinyl roof's not been fixed. So we're going to look a bit further in now. Hold on. Looking in, then you can see the inner section of the rear quarter with silver paint on it. So it wasn't a hard shunt. They've lost the quarter somehow. Who knows what happened? And that quarter failed and then began to rot. And that's caused some damage on this side. The boot we shall talk about shortly, but the bad, we've got big problems with the roof itself in terms of the inner cross members, the inner support structure, hold the skin. That's all gone. Look at that. That's all chomped away. That side's actually okay. That channel there. But on this side, if you can see, we're all crumbled. Okay, so there's the problems with the roof. We need a whole new roof. We'll talk about how we're going to do that later on, but we've got effectively a really badly perforated roof skin, and most of the inner structure, at least half of it, corroded away, so you couldn't just reskin, you've got to replace this roof structure itself. We'll look at that. There's a couple of ways we can do it, so we'll talk about them nearer the time when the car's stripped. So roof bad, quarter bad, then we move on to the boot floor, and then we'll wrap for this little inspection part 2, because then the film will switch to continuing the strip down, and we'll get the seats out, lift the carpets in the next episode, and we'll show you if the floor pans have indeed survived. I've noticed some holes in them in again in the usual places, but what I'm interested in is just about a foot inboard. I want metal to bring out. You can get the inner repair sections and the inner sills. That's quite fun to do. I do enjoy that. Repairing the sills on these is good fun. You saw Ruby, the quality of the work that was done on that. We'll just do that again on this car, slowly, bit by bit we'll get through. So just for this part 2 inspection, wanted to show you the bulkhead condition, wanted to briefly mention the roof, and in a second now we're going to go around. In part 1 of the inspection you saw underneath, we'll do a bit more of that as well as we go on. There might be one more section, part 3, to the inspection, but to finish this little bit of the clip off and to get you some footage that's not too long and always reveal something new each film. We don't want to keep going around in circles, as Andy rightly said, well pointed out, Andy there. You want to make sure that the films are bringing you new fresh material, or at least some new reveals, or you know, a new section to the film that's not going around in circles, of course. So liking to keep it on revealing stuff. So as we peel back carpets, take out seats, take out dashboards, look at what's hidden behind there, if there is anything like that. Okay, so Bramble inspection part 2, now moving to the boot section. Okay, join us in the boot. As mentioned, Silver Fox prominent. What I'll first do is to vac out and move some of these relics. There's various bits, what's left of the rubber mat there, Bramble's spare wheel, a radiator cowling looks broken, a few little bits from the past. There's a jack securing strap, a few other items. Clear those out of the way, vac out, brush out, and we'll just see looking like a new boot floor. But we just need to see how far inboard beyond the boot floor, if at all. And this very important area, probably the most important area up this end, is the lower, what would you say, the rear window, lower sort of scuttle plenum area where the fresh air's drawn through. Bad news they are normally, so we're going to be pulling the boot rubber off and seeing how bad that is, because that's a difficult one. It's attached to the parcel shelf, which is a subsection fitted between the 2 inner pillars. Seen on Swampy, that job, and also you can see more of it on Ruby when the shell was quite stripped down, or indeed on your own car. You may be familiar with that area. We're going to see if it's ate away that drain channel, the troublesome drain channel at the bottom of the back windscreen. It always rots, and you can just grab hold of it and it just crumbles away. Look at some of my abandoned car finds, where I'm going around scrapyards and looking at Cortinas that have been in there, and you're just crumbling that away, just crunching it off. We're going to clean that up and see what condition that's in. Bear in mind that that channel forms part of the quarters, so if we had damage to it on this side, the quarter comes with that channel. So we're okay up until just about 2/3 up the quarter, where it makes its join with the actual structure of the rear parcel shelf. So we can get away with damage lower because the quarter gives us a new channel. We have new panels for the back, new upper, new inner, 2 new quarters. We have the other side panel. We've got 2 new wings. We've got a new boot lid. We've got a new roof, a very mint roof. Wait till I show you the roof. It's untouched. What a roof. So we can swap the entire roof, no problem. We've got some chassis repair sections. I've not got all the floor repair parts, but I'm building them up. We've got the Portuguese shell with some good panels to donate as well. So we have got quite a lot of spares. Spares on this particular project aren't worrying me. I've got a lot of stuff stockpiled, so that's good news. Okay, so it's Hoover now time to finish you off and keep this film momentum moving. Clean this out, and then we'll clean that troublesome gutter channel out there. You see it just here. Tap the light on the gutter section. It always rots. So let's have a look. It's looking good actually as I'm filming. I've never really paid attention to it till now. Initially I'm looking quite surprised, I've got to say, but let's find out for sure when we clean up. So cut now to me on the back and cleaning up for Bramble. Okay, light in, Karsha vac ready, let's do it. Okay, a bit more dust removed. Moving into the boot with you, I'm going to come on inside the boot. Look at that jack, original Ford jack there, with the nice codes on it, and a date code there, stenciled on 1271. Did you just see on that jack there? So we've got a date stamp on the jack, still connected to its holster with a rubber bung across, just about. The holster's disintegrated, not to worry. The jack pad, resting pad, is in position. I'm looking at the wheel tub inner, and we have wholly intact, on the whole intact tub, round to this side for this tub. The usual where it begins to attack the bottom of the tub. We have some two-door tubs, and we've got some padding material shoved in there. That's the soundproofing card that they have, the felt-backed soundproofing card. We'll be looking at that in a minute. Light clusters at the rear, all in one piece there. Some inner damage to the back, upper rear panel. All pretty much par for the course stuff there. We're going to lift the wheel now. Let's just see, they usually go right the way through to the floor so that your wheel falls out. If you're so swampy, the wheel was on the deck. Out we go to reveal the pan. Yeah, and it's quite shot through. Well, actually, having said that, it's not quite shot through. Let's vac it and have a look. Spare wheel tub then. Let's have a look. Okay, so tub sort of in one piece, not just punching through. Enough holes in it though to warrant a replacement if we can get one. Okay, not too bad a job to do, especially when considering a lot of the car's going to be stripped back. This will be accessible, which will also give us access to the rear chassis legs that stick out, continue under the pan. We'll look at that, it's all part of the future. We're just doing an initial inspection, so plenty of Silver Fox shining at us there. Our petrol sender wiring harness, see how they use the silver tape. A lot of people ask me when I'm at shows, why have you stuck that on? Well, that's because that's how it is. Without the cars without the tang, some have a securing tang, others are secured by that silver tape. Anything in here to, any gems in there? Don't know, we'll probably find some coins. I'm looking forward to finding the first coin, that'll be exciting. I always enjoy that. All cars I've had, I've always found a coin in them. So, I'm going to move up to this before we close for this section. This channel here. So we're going to remove the rubber. Do it while I'm rolling, keep it in one take. Oh, there we go. Now it's good. Be another time saver if this is good. It's looking good. Round this corner for the boot rubber then. Away she goes. Useless, so that'll get scrapped. There's no point keeping that. There's just so many of them around. No point. Brand new East Kent trim, or wherever you want to go. Just poke that through there and pull that and drop that into the well for now. Now it's time to run the vac over. I'm looking pretty surprised. Okay, here's damage straight away, but this is the quarter bit I was telling you about, where this continues, but you get that with the inner wing. I'll show you the join just up here in a minute. First, vac out this. Let's do it with the camera rolling, so I'll just stop, arm up with my Karcher vac and commence, and let's reveal this gutter drain for the rear of the car. Okay, rear drain channel. Let's call it rear drain channel. Here we go. Back of the net, get in. This is what we're telling you about. Oh, ba 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 ba. You can even see it. Basically, what I'm saying, it's in good condition, guys. Another load of work saved. Look, it's not even. It hasn't even. Hey, am I seeing things right? Hang on, let's give it a tap test. You've got yourself a solid, you've only got yourself a solid rear drain channel, rear gutter drain. Did the Silver Fox somehow save it? A comment on YouTube there, much appreciated. Yeah, maybe it did. How has this survived? Later on in the series I'll show you some real bad examples of this area. It's always good when you do a resto, if you can have a solid car, really just helps, doesn't it? You know, I mean, sometimes if you really like your metal, it's not as much fun if there's less to do. I don't know, but it's nice that it just goes to show that the car had to be saved. I mean, you know how original it is. You know how not only original, but how rare this car is. So isn't this a great compliment to the car that troublesome rear drain channel is on the whole intact, which means no need for a parcel shelf swap, no need to have to sacrifice this piece in. We unpick the quarters and we should be able to graft that up. There's the join line I was telling you about just there. Okay, so we're going to be going in and joining them quarters on. Look where they join, they're just here. You see that? Tap tap and there, tap tap. We've got those panels at the back if we needed them, these ones, but it doesn't look like we do. Okay, we've got a parcel shelf if we need it, an absolute minter, but we don't need it. We don't have to do that part of the resto. We simply unpick the wings, then we do the roof job. And when the roof's on, we can work on the floor, or vice versa, depending on what we're doing. But at least we know what we're up against. At least we know that if this is the general condition, let's just put the roof aside and pretend that wasn't there, because a roof, we can do it. Pretend that wasn't there, and then just look at the damage that you've got so far. And what you wouldn't be looking at is a total lost car, because you'd be saying, well, okay, yeah, it started to rot like they all did. Hasn't gone through. The engine bay survived. The scuttle area survived. More than likely these A pillars will be okay. More than likely the front A pillars, these A pillars will be okay, and more than likely these front A panels will be savable. I would have expected. When we went under there, I think I got a hint that was going to be the case. Let's just do it again, because I did this with you on part 1, but why not just look? We're showing signs that somehow, I mean, even the jacking point's in, it's crumbled, so it'll need repair. We've got new jacking points that we got, thanks to Nick for those ones. We've got sills, that's thanks to our guy who came with Cortina with me. Oh, Kevin, I think it is, in Leeds, thank you for those. We've got some of the Turkish body panels as well if we need them. We've got the bits. And we've got good reference points. We've got good solid points to measure from and to get panels to graft across from, even if we do replace them in the end. We've got something solid to work with. And that's great. And that gives you encouragement as well. And also gives the car a bit more of a positive vibe about it. You know, it's almost like it just doesn't want to go. So I expect floor pan damage. I can already see it on the edges, but I'm alright with the edges. What I don't want to be doing is a crumbling chassis rail. Yes, you can drill all the way along and replace that chassis rail, but you know, do you want more work? The car has been stood all that time, and somehow, why park a car up? Car A is parked up for the same amount of time as car B, you get car A completely rocked out, and somehow car B survives. Answers please on the YouTube comments why you think one car may survive up against another of a similar age in similar conditions. Any comments on that will be appreciated. For now then, you saw the good, the bad and the ugly. I would say the boot's the bad bit and the ugly bit's there, or the ugly bit's that roof. But on a mix, good, bad and ugly, part 2 of the inspection coming to an end now, so I can get you edited out. Okay, so the Ruby inspection video, part 2, coming to an end now. Hope you've enjoyed this little walk around, and that we're constantly giving you new material. That's what we want. Look at them brambles. Scary, they're everywhere. And look at our scuttle. No filler. I don't think any filler's been put in the car apart from that quarter repair. It hasn't been a botched car. This has been a good car at some point. And as I was just saying before, I forgot to continue that line. The car is a rare model, because first take Silver Fox and see how many you see. There's not a lot. Okay, then take a two-door. Okay, there's a fair amount of two-doors. How many on GXL though? I saw a nice fern green one not long ago, lovely car. And on GXL, that's the only one I'd seen. How many on GXL, on Auto, on 2 litre, on Silver Fox, on Ruby interior? So 2 litre, Ruby, I keep saying this, don't I? Two-door, Silver Fox, GXL, they're quite rare. If you know of another one like this spec, please get in touch and let me know. I'd be interested to see and contact the owner and ask them some questions about their vehicle, because I've never seen another one. I've been looking out. Don't forget a subscription and a comment if you want to. Share the channel out for us, it always helps, you know that. But for now, we're out. We'll see you part 3 of the inspection, and then we're starting the official countdown. The official countdown. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Over and out for now. Official countdown. Part 1 of the resto. Once we've stripped it. Part 1 coming soon. See you at the NEC. Coming up towards the end of March. Restoration show. Get us a beer. See you there. Over and out. Good night. This clip's a bit in. I get the tax disc. So before we strip this down, we've got Andy the lens is down to get the last shots of the vehicle before we break it up and strip it. When I say break it up, I mean disassemble for restoration, of course. Andy with his lens, his trusty steed, sets himself up for some brochure shots when we finally finish the car, our before and after pictures, which we need. So you've got to think ahead. See, we're thinking positive, Andy. We're thinking the car's going to be done. We're optimistic. That's it. Hope's a good thing. Without hope, we're all lost. As I sneak round between the cola machine and Bramble. But we don't want to interrupt the man at work. Last shots then before we start to do any more inspection work.
Hi, I'm Scotty, and if you want to find out a real quick and easy way to take off your crank pulley bolt, I'm going to show you just how to do it. First, you take yourself a great big breaker bar just like this. You get yourself your 19mm spanner and put it right on the front of your crank pulley, like this. Then all you got to do is lock that crank pulley somewhere. You can put it on your engine block, then it can go on the floor. Then you get in the car, you just turn that baby over, it's going to spin that bolt back real quick. You don't need to go to a garage anymore.